Hey YouTube, Carrotswig here, bringing you all an update to my Firefist Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for August 2025. The Firefists are one of my favorite old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal decks. They've just had so many different cards for support. They've had so many different extra deck monsters, so many different playstyles that focus on being able to set up the fire formation spell and traps that we run in the deck with the many different animal-themed Firefist monsters, whether they be in the extra deck or the main deck. We haven't had support for the deck since Fist of the Gadgets, so they're definitely due for some new support. But as always, like to update the deck, just what we have available for it to use until then. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the for the Firefist monsters, we're running 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Firefist Panda. If you activate a fire formation spell or trap, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Firefist monster from your graveyard, except for Brotherhood of the Firefist Panda. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn, except for Firefist monsters. If a Firefist monster you control would be destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can send 1 fire formation spell or trap you control the graveyard instead. You can only use its effect of Panda once per turn, but that easy special summon setup and then being able to grab another resource from the graveyard makes Panda one of the better setup cards for you to then be able to summon out your Firefist Link monsters, whether it be Eagle or Peacock, onto the field. So a definite 3 of, because you can just go off of cards like Fire Formation Tenki, searching out your Firefist, and then having Panda in hand to special summon after using that Fire Formation spell. So a definite 3 of. Another 3 of we run in the deck is Brotherhood of the Firefist Elephant. Sadly, I still only have the 1 copy, so this card and Panda definitely do need reprints, so maybe one day we'll see reprints. We'll see, maybe they'll be in the Megatins, you never know. It's been a while since we've had some of the Fist of the Gadgets cards reprinted. But with Elephant, if this card's normal or special summon, you can send 1 face-up Fire Formation spell trap you control the graveyard, special summon 1 Firefist monster from your hand, except for Elephant. You can target 1 Fire Formation spell trap in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. Then you can add 1 level 5 or higher Firefist monster from your deck to your hand. You want to use this effect of Elephant once per turn, but Elephant can grab Panda off of this effect. And then just being able to send another one can set up more or less the other resources in your graveyard for you to use as well, depending on the ones that you wanted to summon out. And the last of the 3 ofs for our Firefist monsters include 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Firefist Dragon once per turn. If you activate a Fire Formation spell or trap, except during the damage step, you can set 1 Fire Formation trap directly from your deck, and once per turn, you can send 2 face-up Fire Formation spell or traps you control the graveyard, then target a Firefist monster in your graveyard, except for Dragon, and special summon it. So just being able to grab another Firefist as well can then help to continue into your plays, but then having Dragon and Elephant be level 4s, you can then use them to go into your rank 4 Firefist monsters as well, if you wish to do so. Some of the lower numbers and also the lower level Firefist monsters include 2 copies of Brotherhood of the Firefist Spirit. It cannot be used as synchro material except for the synchro summon of a Beast Warrior monster. When it's normal summon, you can target a level 3 Firefist with 200 or less defense in your graveyard and summon that target. And then with this card, if you do, monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn, except for Beast Warrior monsters. You can only use this effect of Spirit once per turn, but the best card to use to grab off of Spirit would obviously be Rooster, because then you can go for your rank 3 or level 6 synchro plays with this setup as well. So another fun play to definitely utilize in the deck as just another resource grab, or even just using your Spirit for a link play if you wish. The 1-ofs we run include the 1 copy of Rooster. This can just help for the setup. If it's special summoned by the effect of a Firefist monster, you can add a Firefist monster from your deck to your hand. So this card can grab any of the other monsters we mentioned before, and then being able to swap out the face-up Fire Formation spell traps you control to set a Fire Formation spell trap directly from your deck. Rooster can then help to swap those cards out. You really only need the 1 of, though, for that setup. It can just be used afterwards for those summons and setups with the other cards in the deck. 1 Firefist Bear and 1 Gorilla. You have more setup for spells when you inflict battle damage with Bear and then destroy a monster by battle with Gorilla, and then each one being able to send a Fire Formation spell or trap to either target a spell or trap with Gorilla or a monster with Bear and destroy them. And then the last of our Firefist monsters being the 1 Brotherhood of the Firefist land. With this level 6 ritual monster, it can be ritual summoned out with our go-to spell in the deck for ritual summoning, being Fire Formation Domai. And with this card, you can discard 1 monster to set 1 Fire Formation spell or trap directly from your deck or graveyard when your opponent activates a monster effect. Quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Fire Fist or Fire Formation card you control the graveyard, except for Brotherhood of the Firefist Elan to negate that effect. Going to effect of Elan once per turn, but still, the bigger plays with this card is being able to use your resources for those effect negations, which is one of the things that the deck was missing, was just a effect negation to then rely on the added play of these cards. We do have something very similar with cards like Tiger King, but having a ritual monster that can easily be set up with the main deck plays always comes in handy as well, with the rest of the main deck monsters just being 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Not only is it a fire monster, it can also be recycled with some of the other link options we run in the deck, depending on what we want it to go into, like our Salmon Great Sunlight Wolf for just needing 2 fire effect monsters to make this card, and then have more of a recycle play with our own fire monsters in the deck to use also. For the spells, we're running 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. When this card is activated, you can add one level 4 lower Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. All Beast Warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. You can only use this effect of Tenki once per turn, but Tenki can grab basically anything in the deck except for, the higher level Firefist monsters. But still, search power, and it can be swapped out with other cards like Rooster and set up with cards like Bear Gorilla, and then used as additional resources with cards like Dragon and Elephant when needed also. We're also running 3 copies of Fire Formation Tensu. With this card, during your main phase, you can normal summon a 1 Beast Warrior monster in addition to your normal summoner set. Going in this effect once per turn, and then having the 100 attack gain as well. So just the additional normal summon can come in handy if you go for the Elephant set, and then you want the additional normal summon for, let's say, cards like Spirit or Dragon, because then if you go for that and you have Tensu and Tenki set up, you can use cards like Dragon to go for that additional normal summon, and then have the 2 spells ready to send off of this card also. We're running 2 copies of Fire Fortress atop Liane Pink. It's always treated as a Fire Formation card, and each time a Firefist monster is normal or special summon, place 1 Firefist counter on this card. Once per turn, you can remove Firefist counters from your field to activate one of these effects. If you remove 2, if your Beast Warrior monster attacks, your opponent can activate card effects till the end of damage step. If you remove 6, you add a Beast Warrior from your deck to your hand. And also, with 10, you special summon a Beast Warrior from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Just being able to get out some of the bigger extra deck monster we run, ignoring the summoning conditions, rarely happens, but always fun to have that option available to you with the deck. And then the one-ofs for the Fire Formation cards, because once again, these can be set up pretty easily with other cards in the deck. 1, Fire Formation Domai. When it's activated, you can ritual summon a Beast Warrior ritual from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed its level. If this face-up card is sent from these spell and trap cards into the graveyard, you can target a Firefist monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So not only if this card is used as a resource, do you get another resource back on the field, it's used for the ritual play. The Fire Formation Ingen, when it's activated, you fusion summon a Beast Warrior from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap cards into the graveyard, you can target a Firefist monster in your graveyard and add to your hand. So special summon power, add back power, and then both the ritual and fusion plays. Fire Formation Yoko for the face-up card destruction, and Gyoko to shut down set cards. They're all one-of text, just used specifically at specific times during a game. And then the rest of these spells being 1 Call by the Grave, the 1 Pot of Prosperity, and the 1 Triple Tactics Talent to finish off the spell lineup. For the traps, 1 copy of Fire Formation Tensen and 1 Fire Formation Sinto, having the counter trap when a spell or trap is activated when you control a Firefist monster and a Fire Formation spell or trap. Negate the activation and destroy that card. So it's a counter trap that can be set up with cards like Firefist Dragon, and Tensen being more of an attack boost because this card also just has a permanent 300 gain for all Beast Warrior type monsters, and then an additional 700 attack to target 1 until the end of the turn with this card. So just a 1,000 point attack gain that can be set up and set on the field also. And then 1 copy of Gozen Match and 1 Rivalry of Warlords, just because we're stuck most of the time into Fire and Beast Warrior monsters. So having these cards can definitely help to limit what an opponent can do. And 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to finish off the trap lineup in the deck also. For the extra deck monsters, running 2 copies of Brotherhood of the Firefist Tiger King. When this card's Xyz summon, you can set 1 Fire Formation spell or trap directly from your deck. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, negate the effects of a face-up effect monster currently on the field, except Beast Warrior until the end of your opponent's turn. And when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send 3 face-up Fire Formation spell or traps you control to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior monsters with the same attack from your deck in face-up defense. So just added resources to continue on into your Xyz plays if you wish using this card. The 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Firefist Cardinal for more of a shuffle back power, with being able to target 2 or more Fire Formation cards in your graveyard or face from the field, and 2 cards your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Shuffle those targets into the deck. So as I said, detach and shuffle back power. The 1 Brotherhood of the Firefist Lion Emperor and the 1 Diamond Dire Wolf to finish off our Xyz lineup in the deck, with our synchros being the 1 Horse Prince and the 1 Vulcan the Divine. Level 6 options to go for with Spirit and Rooster for that Xyz summon, and then having the additional special summon resource with cards like Horse Prince, as well as the added summon to be able to get out into the deck as well, depending on what you wanted to use for those plays. The 1 copy of the Brotherhood of the Firefist Swan, our fusion monster. If it's special summon, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each fire formation spell or trap you control. And during the battle phase quick effect, you can send a face-up fire formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard. Target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So destruction power, and then just another easy fusion monster to get out. Only needing, Beast Warrior monsters, 2 of them to make it. The 1 Firefist Peacock and the 1 Eagle. And once again, easy link 2s to summon out, just needing Firefist monsters and Beast Warrior monsters for both to make. And then the added special summon option of Eagle. You can only special summon Eagle once per turn. If you can activate Firefist monster effects without sending Fire or Fist or Fire Formation cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. So you don't have to send the cost for cards like Dragon for that or Elephant using this card. And then being able to target a Fire Formation spell trap you control or in your graveyard, return it to the hand, and send a Firefist monster from your deck to the graveyard. So this is the added setup as well for cards like Spirit, if you wish. And then Brotherhood of the Firefist Peacock. With this card, when it points to a Firefist monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks, added protection, and then being able to have your opponent's monsters go into monster zones, one of the earlier original fire effects, thanks to that card also. The rest of the link monsters include 1 Sunlight Wolf, the 1 Bujinki Ashishime, the 1 Fire Charmer Ablaze, the 1 Promethean Princess, and the 1 Amphibious Swarm Ship to finish off the link monsters and the extra deck in total. Now, for some of the go-to plays in the deck, setup, and depending on the play you want to go for, is a big part of the deck. Cards like Elephant can definitely help to go with that play, and if you want to extend into the Elephant, what's even better is just Tenki. As always, Tenki is just a great starter in many decks, and for the deck that it was originally made for, all the better. You activate Tenki, searching out your Brotherhood of the Firefist Elephant. So then with this card, you'll have the normal summon of Elephant. When it's normal or special summon, you can send a face-up fire formation you control the graveyard to special summon a Firefist monster from your hand, except for Brotherhood of the Firefist Elephant. So then you'll just grab your additional resource from your hand onto the field. If it's just 1 additional Firefist monster, then you have that additional play to go into. If you activate Tenki, and let's say you have your Gorilla in your hand, not only will you be able to activate Tenki before you search out Elephant, summoning out the Panda, what you can then do is have the send for this card. Then you have your additional monster on the field. Using the 2 for a link 2 play, you can then go into your Brotherhood of the Firefist Eagle, and then with Eagle, being able to have the use of your Firefist cards without having to send for their effects. So Dragon, needing the 2, no longer needs the 2 to be used. Just being able to then target a Firefist monster in your graveyard, except for Dragon, and special summon that target. So then you can summon Elephant back onto the field as well for that play. And then being able to use that additional setup by being able to then shuffle back the additional monster, target a fire formation spell in your graveyard, shuffle into the deck, and add a level 5 or higher Firefist monster from your deck to your hand, which if you've already used the Panda play, you can then use this card to go for your Ritual monster, being one of the easier searches to set up the Ritual monster in your hand, and then use the 2 level 4s to go into your overlay, into your Brotherhood of the Firefist Tiger King, and when it succeeds summon, you can set a fire formation spell or trap card directly from your deck, so then you can grab what you need. If you want to go for Tenzin, Shinto, you could even go for cards like Yoko. You can go for Tensu if you have the additional Firefist monster in your hand to be able to normal summon out, because then from there you can activate Tensu after it's set on the field for that play, and then being able to have that monster setup for that additional normal summon as well for that play to go into, because then with this card being able to target a Fire Formation spell or trap you control or in the graveyard, return it to the hand, and then send 1 Firefist monster from your deck to the graveyard. So that card can be used for the added additional normal summon play or the send of 1 in the graveyard, which then you can use the spell that to send Rooster with that card, being able to use this card, return it to the hand, and then send 1 of those cards to the graveyard, setting up the Rooster, which then if we go for the additional set or play, you normally won't be able to reactivate again, since with that card being able to gain this effect once per turn. So once again, Tensu says during your main phase you can normal summon 1 beast monster in addition to your normal summon set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So it's not an activation effect. So what you can do is after you set it with Tiger King, you can activate this card and then use the effect of Eagle to bounce it back to your hand, send the Rooster to the graveyard, then reactivate the Tensu. Then you gain the effect of the normal summon, having the search and summon if you have the Spirit in your hand to summon back the Rooster, and then use those 2 monsters for either an additional Xyz play or the go-to setup into your Firefist Horse Prince, giving you more and more monsters and added resources on the field for you to use. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I love Fire Fists. I definitely feel like we need to reprint a good number of cards in the deck. It's been a while since Fist of the Gadgets. Wanted to do that booster box opening a while back just to show you all these awesome Fire Fist cards as well that you can use in the deck. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.